question number 11. So the question is the difference between the compound interest and simple interest on a given principal at 10% per annum for 2 years is 1500. Find the principal. So in this question, difference between compound interest and simple interest is given for 2 years and the sum deposited is asked at the rate 10%. So we'll see the working. So here the principal, the sum deposited is asked and difference between simple compound interest and simple interest is given for 2 years. So difference between compound interest and simple interest is given as rupees 1500. And what is the rate given? It is 10%. So now using this I1, I2 concept, what is the difference between compound and simple interest for 2 years? So we saw compound interest for 2 years is 2I1 plus I2. And what is simple interest for 2 years? That is 2I1. So difference between compound and simple interest is I2 itself. So here I2 is given 1500. So we are asked to find the principal. And what is I2? It is interest on previous year's interest. So here the detail given is I2 is rupees 1500. And what is this I2? So I2 is interest on the previous year's interest. And what is R? 10%. So substituting for I2 and R, so I2 is 1500, I1 and R is 10%. Now what is I1? So it is 15,000. So sending this 10 here and multiplying, so we get I1 is 15,000. And what is I1? It is interest on the principal for the first year. So that is I1 equal to 15,000. So I1 equal to P into R by 100. So R is 10% and we'll substitute for I1. So here it is 15,000 equal to P into 1 by 10. And now what is the sum deposited? It is 1,50,000. So multiplying this with 10. So 1,50,000 is the sum deposited, is the principal. So here difference between compound and simple interest is given as 1500. So that it is I2. So I2 is 1500. So with that we found this I1. So I1 is 15,000. And with this I1 we found this 1,50,000. So now the sum deposited is 1,50,000. And the answer for this question 11 is option A, rupees 1,50,000. So the sum deposited, so at 10%, which gives the difference between compound and simple interest for 2 years, that is 1500. The sum is 1,50,000. So it's option A. So here the shortcut is, so I2 is given as 1500 and with that we found what is I1. So 10% of I1 is I2. So if I2 is 1500, I1 will be 15,000. So in this principal 10% is I1. So principal will be, if I1 is 15,000, principal will be 1,50,000. So the sum deposited is 1,50,000. So we'll see the next question. Question number 12. So the question is, find the difference between compound interest compounded annually and simple interest of 8% for rupees 80,000 for 3 years. So here difference between CISI, compound interest and simple interest, for 3 years is asked on a sum of rupees 80,000 at 8%. So we'll see the working. So difference between compound interest and simple interest for 3 years is asked. So this also we can easily work out using this I1 I2 concept. So So we'll see what is the difference between compound and simple interest in terms of I1 and I2. Say compound interest for 3 years is 3I1 plus 3I2 plus I3. And now what is simple interest for 3 years? It is just 3I1. So I1 is interest on the sum for the first year. So multiplied it thrice, we get the simple interest. Now what is difference between compound interest and simple interest for 3 years? So it is 3I2 plus I3. So if we find I2 and multiply it with 3 and add this I3 term, we get difference between compound interest and simple interest. So we'll see how to find the interest. So difference between compound interest and simple interest, the number of years is 3, is equal to 3I2 plus I3. So I2 multiplied with 3 plus I3 will give the difference. So to find this I2, we need I1 also. And now what is the sum deposited? It is rupees. So the principal is rupees 80,000. And what is the rate %? It is 8% compounded annually. So for every month the interest is calculated. So we will take the rate as 8%. So when we are working, when the sum and the rate % is of same number, say 80,008 or 12,012, so just we can find powers of 8 and work out. So to find I1, I2, I3, so first it will be 8 square, then 8 cube, 8 power 4 and so on. So finding the powers of 8, easily we can find these values. So we will see how to find the values. Now to find I2, so we will find I1. So I1 is PR by 100. So principal is 8,000 and the rate is 8%. Now what is the value? It is 6,400. So that is 8 square. So I1 is 88 into 8. So we will have multiples of 10. So where it is square of 8. So 6400. So now we will find I2. So I2 is I1 into R by 100. So what is I1? It is 6,400 into 8%. Now when we cancel 64 into 8 is 8 cube, 512. So 512 is the value of I2. Suppose in this question, so if they have asked what is difference between compound and simple interest for 2 years, answer is 512. So we saw I2 is the difference, so answer is 512. Now we are asked to find for 3 years, so we have to find I3 also. So I3 is for this I2 R%. And what is I2? It is 512 and 8% for this. So 512 into 8, it is 8 power 4, or it is 64 square. So we can multiply and get the answer. So it is 4096. So 8 power 4 is 4096, or 8 to 16, then 9 and 8 5 40, and divided by 100. 40.96 is value of I3. Now what is difference between compound and simple interest? So this I2 we don't need for difference, because in simple interest also we will have this term. So start from I2. So 3 into I2 plus I3. Plus I3 is So 40.96. So now what is 3 into 5, 12? So 3 into 12 is 36. 3 into 5 is 15 plus 40.96. So the difference is the required difference. So adding these two values, it is 0.966751. So difference between compound interest and simple interest for 3 years, it is 1576.96. So rupees 1576.96. So using this I1, I2 concept, we have found difference between CI, SI for 3 years. And there is a formula also to find the difference between CI and SI. So we will see how to arrive at the answer using the formula. So for 2 years, difference between compound and simple interest, it is P into R by 100 the whole square. So if they ask for 2 years, we can use this formula. So principal is 80,000 and rate is 8%. So working out, we get the answer. So it is, for 2 years it is 80,000 into 8 by 100 the whole square. Now when we multiply, when we square this 100, that is 10,000, all the zeros gets cancelled. So 8 into 64, 512. So now 512 is I2, difference between compound and simple interest for 2 years, I2. So we have got, using the formula, 512. So now for 3 years, so for this question we need for 3 years. So for 3 years, what is the difference? The formula, so it is P into R by 100 the whole square into 3 plus R by 100. So this will give you difference between compound and simple interest for 3 years. So we have easily found this answer. So we can find the answer using this formula also. So but it's a lengthy procedure. We have some lengthy calculations here. So we'll find the difference. So it is 80,000 so 8 by 100 the whole square into 3 plus 8 by 100. So this is equal to so this gets cancelled. So 3 plus 8 by 100, it is 308 by 100. So this is the formula for 3 years. So using this we have arrived at this. So after simplifying we get the difference. So 8 into 64 is 512 into 308 by 100. So now multiplying this 312 and 308 and dividing it by 100, we get difference between CI and SI. So 512 into 308. So what is 512 into 8? It is 8 power 4, 4096. So leaving here for 0 one place. So 3 into 512 it is 12, 3, 36 and 15. So which is equal to 157696 by 100. So answer is, so difference between CISI for 3 years. So using the formula, so we have to calculate all this. So 1576.96 is the answer. So using this I1, I2 concept, we found I1 and then I2 and I3. And 3I2 plus I3 will give you the difference between compound and simple interest. So answer is 1576.96. And the answer is option B, 1576.96. 576.96. So difference between CISI for 3 years, that is 1576.96, option B. And here the shortcut is finding I2, finding first I1 and then I2 and I3. So I1 is 6400, I2 is 512 and I3 is 40.96. So taking here I2, multiplying it with 3, so 3 into 512 plus 40.96, answer is 1576.96. So friend, before going into the next question, so here to find this compound interest, difference between compound and simple interest, so we did by two methods. So one I1 I2 concept and other we use I showed you how to work out using the formula also. So mostly in other books, widely they use the formula and get the answer. So you yourself would have seen, so it takes lengthy calculations to use the formula and work out. So though I have given the formula, it is for your information. So you can try this I1 I2 concept itself and you can see how easily and quickly you will get the answer. So I1 I2 method will be very simple to work out. So formula method is a lengthy one and it has some lengthy working. So you can follow this I1 I2 concept and get the answers quickly and easily.